What's in this container, this bottle here, this protein shake container?
Fermented greens.
Fermented greens.
I have been eating very well in the country of my birth, Jamaica, for the past couple days. Yeah. And today it went downhill. We had a combo breaker, as they would say in Street Fighter.
Combo breaker. Fermented, like what? I don't even know what that means. Like, is it like, what is it? What, like kelp or like
spirulina? Carrot roots.
Like
there's like
119.
There's like 119 ingredients. That'd be amazing if I listed every one. If you went,
did you just like every green vegetable and
whole coffee fruit?
What?
The whole fruit, not even the bean.
The coffee fruit.
The coffee fruit.
This feels like a waste of coffee. Is what this feels like.
Should we introduce ourselves? I'm Jhanelle Dennis.
Oh, I'm Jacob Derwin. Welcome to I'm Trying. I'm also pretty tired, I'm not going to lie.
It's one of those weeks. It's one of those days. It's the end of February. It's short month.
It's dreary. Well, it's a little longer than usual this month. Shout out to my friend Laurel Johnson, whose birthday is on a leap year, so she actually gets to celebrate her birthday this month for the first time in 4 years.
Oh,
yeah, we have the 29th this month. This year.
We have the 29th this month?
Yeah, that's what the leap year means. It means we got one more day.
I didn't know that was this year.
Yeah, it's happening.
One extra day to pay rent.
My friend Laurel gets to celebrate her 8th birthday.
Wow. I'm disappointed in you for being friends with him.
This is my way to say happy birthday to my friend Laurel.
Happy birthday.
Probably a few weeks later, but because this is probably coming out in March. But anyways, today's episode is with Courtney Rada. She is a comedian and a host for the Food Network, specifically the web series / now it's on Food Network. It's on TV called Carnivorous, in which she explores the country's best meat providers, and also coming out this spring. I'm not sure if it's out by the time this episode will drop. We'll drop an episode.
Let the beat drop.
It's called Better With Age. And Better With Age is a web series where Courtney went around to different homes, to home cooks who have been making recipes for 30 plus years, for a long time, and cooked with them in their homes and got to know them, a little bit of the history. And
I love that idea.
It's a really cool little show concept, and it's how I met Courtney. She came to my home and met my mom. She is my mom now.
Wasn't it on your mom's birthday?
It was a few
around that time?
Yeah, just after or just before. Yes, it was around my mom's birthday. I can't remember the exact date.
I think it was the same weekend.
It was a little. My mom. I think it was a little bit before. I think it was like a week or half a week before. And it was a really wonderful time. And Courtney is a wonderful host, and she immediately just makes you feel comfortable. She's warm. She's funny. She's friendly. And it was a wonderful birthday gift from my mom.
That's a top tier birthday gift.
It was really lovely, and I'm so happy to bring her here. And I'm so happy she was down to do the podcast, because she is at her heart. I mean, you and her come from a similar background. You're both stand-ups. You both kind of slummed it in New York City for whatever amount of time, and she kind of on her own accord, found this gig that she never saw coming.
Yeah, and all of her skills culminated into this
perfect career
gig that really utilizes them.
Yeah.
Even she was talking a little bit about improv, which I didn't mention in the episode, but I did one level of improv at Second City in Toronto. Sure. Mm-hmm. It was not for me.
It's not for everybody.
I mean, it went well, but it's difficult having to be a part of a team, and if it goes downhill, everything goes downhill and you can't end it. So you
gotta commit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes a special kind of person to be able to really make something out of that format, and it's a wonderful thing to be able to pull off. And I'm glad that's working out for our wonderful guest Courtney. So listen up to the episode and look out for her on the Food Network. You can follow her online at Court Rada, so it's like her name Courtney, but just the Court part.
Just the Court.
And then her last name, Rada. And she's a lot of fun, and I'm glad she was here. So, this is the episode with Courtney Rada.
Enjoy!
My name is Courtney Rada. I am I'm 28 years old, turning 29 this year. Sorry, it just seems so close to 30. That is, you're like dead. No.
Let's go with that. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so that's my intro. No, so I went to school for musical theater when I was in college. And then I graduated and I like moved to the city with a pink wrap dress and, you know, my Laducas and my rep book. And I was like, I'm going to be on Broadway. And then I realized that I was not very good at being on the Broadway. You know, do you ever like it was like a moment of realization where I was like, oh, this is something that I'm like passionate about and that's wonderful, but like this isn't my journey, this isn't my thing.
Sure.
So I started doing stand up and improv, and then I realized that I love just, you know, taking situations and making people laugh and improvising in life and also like with a group and also by myself. And so I sort of used the skills that I learned in improv to get into this world of hosting. And so I don't know, it's kind of cool like having like not really been able to do the theater thing very well, but then really kind of succeeding and just like being myself. That was pretty cool. So now I'm a host for the Food Network.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I have a few shows. One is called Carnivorous, which is sort of similar to Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, but more of a millennial take, and it's all centered around, you know, meat dishes. So
Therefore carnivorous.
Therefore carnivorous. Therefore, my friends call me Gay Fieri. No. And then I have another show coming out.
Tell me all about it.
In the spring.
Oh, wow.
Which is how I met you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's called Better with Age. I go into the homes of people who've been making recipes for 30 plus years and learn a little bit about them and their families and the recipes, and that is how I met my man Jacob.
Yeah, and I'm excited about that. I'm very excited.
I know, I'm really excited to see it. That was fun. Those latkes, man.
Yeah, man.
I will be
no spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
I assume it's gonna be very spoiled.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be. I posted a picture of like your
front
mom's
lawn.
like you on your front lawn, and your mom's like spatula that said like latkes.
Yes,
and I was like,
the spatula says latkes on it.
It was
wow.
It's like carved out. The word is like carved out of the.
And I was like, guess what we're making? And everyone's like, no spoilers. And I was like, it's latkes.
Ta-da! Okay, well, let's go back a little bit. I think we touched on something really interesting there.
Cool.
So, where are you from originally?
Originally from South Jersey.
South Jersey. Okay.
Outside. I just say outside of Atlantic City because not many people know.
Sure.
Smithville, New Jersey.
Unfamiliar?
Yep. It's a cute little like town, little village. Very there's not a lot of people. It's one of those places where like you can't go out without bumping into like every single person you've ever met growing up.
My favorite.
You know? Yeah, like going to the Wawa and I see like my third grade gym teacher, my ex best friend.
They're on a date. It's weird.
Yeah, it's all weird. Everyone's dating. I think it's just all a big secret. Yeah. So it's a very small town.
Yeah. So you're from South Jersey. You moved to New York, and you told me over time you had this moment where you're like, this isn't going to work the way I planned. Do you remember like a specific moment or a series of events that led to that revelation?
I think, when it was my senior year and we had to do, you do like, I don't know if you're familiar with like musical theater school, but there's, most programs have a showcase, like a senior showcase. So I was like getting things together for this and none of the roles felt right. And I was marketing myself as like this very feminine, very girly, very like ingenue-esque musical theater girl. And for lack of a better term, it was just so basic that I was like, I feel like I'm not, like something doesn't feel right.
Sure.
And looking back on it now, I feel like I would love to have gone back and be like, okay, I'm going to sing something because I can sing. Yeah. I mean, I haven't in a while, but like I can. But I would have loved to like I would love to go back and be like, because I sang Hopelessly Devoted from Grease, which I'm like, look at me, I am not Sandra Dee, but you know what? We're going to run with it. Like, I sang that, and then I wish I could go back and just like sing something funny, and then also maybe do like a 3-minute stand-up set or something like that and just tell some jokes.
Something that felt more you.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think a lot of that too was, finding my voice as an out lesbian in a world that like, if there's not really many gay roles for women in theater, and there wasn't really any, and if there are, they're very, I just didn't feel like there was anything that fit what I wanted to market myself as, and so I was sort of hiding from things that felt right because I thought that I had to like drink the Kool-Aid and do what would work for musical theater, I guess. So
yeah. Well, Jhanelle, when did you start stand-up?
I want to say 5 years ago around
Cool.
that.
Okay. And so you were in school also when you started?
No,
No?
I was way aging myself, but I was around 25.
Oh, I thought maybe your grad school program. That was later, I guess.
No, it was
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I was working in between my undergrad
How old are you?
and I'm 30.
See,
31.
I was like 30, you're dead.
Yeah, and I'm like,
But hey, listen, you do not look 30, so that is.
I thought you were younger than me.
I thought you were like 23, 22.
Really?
Yeah, swear to
wow,
God.
that makes me feel. I'm dead inside, if that makes.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Well, okay. Anyways, okay, so I feel like I relate to your story in a weirdly accurate way. Like,
Same.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, it's a longer time ago, but in high school I started in the theater program and immediately gave up. I did it my freshman year.
I didn't know you did theater.
For 1 year, and I hated it with all my not the art form, but the people and the pressure that was put on a bunch of ninth graders.
That's such a real thing.
it's-
Like,
it's
not
real.
a lot of times, like, the people that are involved in theater are, like, their own worst enemies. It's
yeah.
It's such a beautiful art form, and then there's people just constantly knocking each other down and judging people, so
And
you
I think it's a
run
combination.
from it.
Exactly. And I think it's a combination of just the atmosphere and also the fact that you're in ninth grade, you're in high school, and high school's terrible,
Yeah.
and everyone's pubescent, and there's a million things happening. And so I quit pretty early. And I'll tell you my weird food story later, but I know there's things here, but no, but then like I ended up in journalism school. Like I ended up doing broadcast journalism in college because I wanted to host things, because I wanted to do radio and television.
Cool.
And so I feel like I know the thing that clicked in your head a little bit
Yeah.
at different times where it was like, this thing isn't really working. I still think I'm at least an interesting person.
Right.
I think I'm at least good enough to be in front of people and lead the pack in some small way.
Right.
And it just I feel like, I don't know what exact, it's probably different for everybody, but I feel like maybe the same light switch flipped.
Yeah, and I think that like when you're in an environment where you can have a lot of attention and you thrive on that, and you like being not in the center of attention, but you feel like you have something worth saying.
Yes.
The way to channel that, especially when you're younger, is through theater and roles that like have already been written, and finding things that sort of match your voice. But then I think you get to the point where you're like, oh, maybe the best character that this is so corny, but like the best character that I can play is like myself. And I knew all along it was me that I wanted to listen to.
I mean, no, it's incredibly it's an honest thing to say. It is. I feel like maybe a lot, I don't know, but I feel like a lot of hosts and actors, personalities would not, they would shy away from admitting that.
Right.
Like, no, it's it's like, no, part of it is the fact that you feel like you have something you want to say and that people should listen in some small way, and that's not a bad thing. There's no ego about it. It's just it's a skill.
But I think it also comes with like that sort of fraud complex where once you do start to get attention, or you do start to become good at like being yourself on camera or in front of a mic or something like that, you're like, who do I think I am for thinking that I'm this interesting that I could just be myself and make a career off of that? Like, so, I mean, I still think they have the wrong person. I still think they're going to call me and be like, I'm so sorry, you're not the Courtney Rada we thought you were. So, yeah, it does come with like that sort of complex too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get that? The fraud complex?
Fraud complex all the time. All the time. My path was a little bit different. I, after high school, went into acting and commercial acting, and it was the same thing where give me a script and I'll be able to bring these words to life.
Yeah.
Whether it's, clean and clear or some...
Yeah.
You got the skin for clean and clear. That's for
You
sure.
do. Wow.
They told me. I was like, thank God.
Wow.
I had really bad acne right before that. So, but I didn't use clean and clear. Whoops.
Oopsie daisy.
This is actually a big clean and clear commercial.
Yeah.
They still have. I signed a 15-year contract.
11 minutes later.
Whoa.
It's like those commercials where you're like, well, I have no idea what brand this is for. I don't know where they're going with this. It's like Subway. It's like there was a childbirth in this commercial, and we're at sandwiches.
Babies love sandwiches.
Babies love sandwiches. Take it from Courtney Rada. Scientific.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
Babies love sandwiches.
Babies love sandwiches.
They shouldn't eat them, but they love them.
I feel like I relate to those babies. Oh man.
My God.
Okay, so you're in New York. You're having your personal little crises, and you fall into the world of improv and hosting. Where do you start to break ground in those worlds, or where do you start to fail in those worlds? What are your first couple of moments pursuing those things like?
So I started at the Pit, which I loved.
Yeah.
We've got
Love
friends
the
at the
Pit.
Yeah.
I loved just the vibe at the Pit. I felt like I was always walking into like someone's living room and just being like, we're all going to laugh no matter what. And that sort of...
We're not leaving here until we
We're
laugh.
not leaving here until one of you pisses yourself. All right. And so I did 2 levels there, which I loved. But then I sort of started... And then I did 1 level at UCB because I was trying to see which one I wanted to maybe go all the way with, like go to 4th base with.
Yeah.
Wow. Go make a home run.
Touch a career on under its shirt or something.
But I decided neither because I didn't think that my journey was a house team. I loved going and watching the house teams. But I just, there was something about it that I was like, I don't think that that's also something that fits for me.
Sure.
And I also really liked coming up with my own jokes and doing stand-up, even though it scared the absolute poop out of me. Like cat poop out of me.
Good save.
Thank you. I remember the first time doing stand-up was like the most scared I ever was. And then I also put so much, pressure on myself being like, you stop doing theater to do this. What if you're not good? What if you're an idiot? Who made you think that you're funny, And so then I was like, I remember I was like almost going to throw up. I was like, whoa. Wow. And I've never really gotten stage fright before. And I never really gotten stage fright when I was doing theater. But for some reason, like doing this and putting so much on that and also like doing my own material, I had a moment where I was like, I'm scared to death, which means it's important, which means it's something that I should be doing.
Yeah, and it was going all the way in what you wanted to do. You wanted to be yourself.
Right.
But if people don't laugh or you don't get the reaction of that,
exactly.
you think, okay, do people not like me, who I am as a person?
Exactly. And it's like, oh, I was the problem all along, So that was very terrifying. But I did that for a little bit and, got better and sometimes got way worse, but then there was times I was like, wait, I'm amazing. Then I started I got like a HelloFresh meal prep kit.
Okay.
And was really into it, and my dad was a chef.
Oh wow.
And so I liked learning and teaching myself how to like cook things and get better at cooking. And I thought about, because I was sort of at a standstill with the stand-up, and I was like, maybe I'll go to cooking school, like maybe I'll take that journey for a little bit. I do like it. Sure. And out of the blue, there was this casting that said looking for comedians who enjoy cooking, and basically my interview process was sitting in front of the camera and just talking about myself and why I liked food and what I liked about it, and I talked for 10 minutes. And then I got a call like the next day that I was going to start traveling and hosting this food show.
Wow.
So it was like
it was that quick.
Yeah, it was so crazy. And it was so like, it was wild, which is why I think like that sort of fraud complex came in. I was like, they meant to send this to someone else. Like
this was too quick.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden I was on a plane and I was like, oh my God.
I guess I'm reviewing sausages now.
Yeah. And literally, I think the first episode was...
This was for Carnivorous?
Yes. So Carnivorous was a digital series before it was picked up by Food
I remember
Network.
seeing it on YouTube,
Yeah. And the first episode was a butcher shop in Boston.
Oh, that's what it was.
And I showed up at that butcher shop and I was like... And I remember the director was like, hey, did you get the breakdown and like the scripts and your intros and everything? Like when I showed up to set, and I was like, nope. And he was like, oh my God, I sent it to your email, and they sent it to the wrong email.
Oh no!
And so my very first day, I made up everything on the fly, and I just like went with it. And
Well done.
hey, thanks. But I was like, well, this can't be right. But
Well, suddenly all your skills are coming into play. You literally did improv.
I did improv. I was
Suddenly-
talking about food, and I was trying to be myself and be as charming as possible and make
Yeah.
it seem like I knew what I was doing. And it was cool. I sang a few bars. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I heard you sing at my mom's house a couple times. You have a
Oh my
beautiful
God.
voice.
I randomly will just. I mostly sing when I'm uncomfortable. Like if there's like an awkward silence, I'm like,
Oh, that makes it a lot
whoa,
worse.
whoa. You're just like,
This seems uncalled for.
I know. I'm just like, wow, amazing.
Oh,
Are you? And I'm like, I am just uncomfortable.
okay, that's incredible. Where did you see the posting? Was it like backstage, or where were they? Where do you hear a casting call for a comedian who likes food?
It was through
Heaven.
Heaven.
Yeah, it was. I was like, it was through this casting director. She posted it on Instagram.
Oh my
and
God!
Someone had like DM'd it to me, and then I was like, oh.
I'm there.
And so I was a little relentless though when it came to getting an appointment. I like emailed one person and and they looped me in with another person. So I emailed another person, and I think I emailed like 3 people until someone was finally like, yeah, send us a reel. Okay. And I was like, yes.
Wild. Yeah. That's. I'll loop it into I'll keep the story as short as I possibly can.
Oh, please.
No,
please keep it short.
honestly, it's not about me, it's about you. But I was 16 years old, and I posted 2 videos on YouTube of me and a bunch of friends being quote unquote food reviewers and being goofy teenagers and eating sushi and ice cream. And that was really it was not thoughtful. It was not
together,
eloquent.
sushi and ice cream?
No, there's 2 separate episodes.
Okay, got it.
I'm pretty sure the name what we called the series was probably breaking a lot of copyrights because it had the whole verse food thing in it. And but we enjoyed making them, and they were low key and goofy and done on a Canon digital camera. And there was no real effort put into it, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I knew how to use Movie Maker. I could put things together. And I got a email, and then a call from a YouTube channel that didn't exist yet. That was looking for teenage hosts for a potential food show on their channel. And so we set up a phone call, and it was with Joe Davola and Brian Robbins, who are producers known for. But Joe Davola worked on Seinfeld.
Crazy Joe Davola.
Joe Davola, and they both helped create like all that and the Amanda Show and kind of that generation.
Yeah.
And so, knowing all that, I'm on this phone call. And they want me to make basically a pilot idea, like a full. They don't want an audition. They want me to put together a whole episode concept. And so I pull a few friends together. We go to a local place called Super Fry, where you guys ate when you came to hang out with us, which is
You went to Super Fry? I've been hearing so much about this
which
place.
is the Full Circle. It's pretty good.
It was great.
It didn't exist for a while. It closed and then it reopened recently, which is why we were so excited about it. But back then, it was kind of the go-to high school spot. Lunch special was $6.50. You went there for lunch.
Yeah.
You ate a giant meaty panini and a bunch of fries, and you loved it.
Yeah.
And so we got there early. We ordered like $50 worth of food. We went through each bit. We did all the glamour shots of us biting into the food. We threw it together in Movie Maker in an afternoon, my buddy Brian, and we sent it in and didn't hear back for months. And eventually they told us that summer they weren't going to go through with the project. And that was kind of the end of it.
Okay.
And this channel was called Awesomeness TV. And it slowly bloomed into whatever it became. It was sold to DreamWorks for several $1 million and then became a Nickelodeon show. And
It
so
is still with Nickelodeon or MTV now.
I think it's still. I don't know. I think it's Nickelodeon still, or maybe I'm not sure. But point is, I had this moment where I kind of watched the escalation of this thing that like I kind of missed the bus on, and it's made me kind of crack up ever since. Like I mean, I worked in Chelsea. I worked in Chelsea Market for a summer at New York One, right next to the offices.
Yeah,
and I feel like I've had these constant. Weird little drive-bys with this
like
whole
taunting
thing.
Almost like
It'll-
hey,
yeah.
and you're like I'm so close to that.
And
like,
so cherry on top of the sundae is my girlfriend Betta sends me a message and she goes, you have to apply for this, and it's the thing you posted on Instagram. I'm like, I'm not 30 years old, but my mom has been making these latkes since her great grandma told her how to make them, and so here we are. But
That's so cool.
It is
Yeah.
a very funny. It's been a very funny couple 8 to 9 years of this weird these weird run-ins.
Yeah.
And so it's yeah. So you never know where these things are going to pop up. You get random calls from
No,
random
it's
people.
true,
It's
and
strange.
I think that's why it helps just to say yes to everything.
Yes.
But like, man, that is wild.
It's weird. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. So you got this first pilot. You improv most of it, if not all of it.
All of it. Yeah, like all the interviews, all the intros. I'm like, I was gonna try something else. Let me try
Amazing.
this one. Let me
God
try.
bless.
I'm in Boston. Let me try that again. Like it's
Yeah.
It was. But the production team was brilliant. I mean, they're very fun. They're
This
young.
was cafeteria too?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You met them. They're
They're
fun. They're
such a
young.
lovely
They're
group.
so funny.
Yeah.
So they were encouraging and they weren't.
Right. And I feel like we kind of hit it off because we had the same sense of humor. So,
Yeah.
which was very helpful because I could be like, I think this is, and he'd be like, no, that's not funny. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like,
You trust each other with the humor.
Right.
You know that
Yeah.
they're on the same page.
and no one's feelings get hurt too.
Sure.
You're like,
Good.
hey, that was actually really stupid. Like Carlos is our director and
Yeah.
he's like a brother to me. And like I came out in an outfit once and he was like, hey man, I would change that shirt. And I was like, why? He's like, it just kind of looks stupid. And I'm like, all right. But like, if anyone else would have said that, I'd be like, you can go die. But like with Carlos, I'm like, love you, man. Like,
Right, sure.
I'm like,
Thanks for having me
okay,
back.
cool.
Have there been any, I mean, if you don't want to mention this because the show is pretty new, have there been any incidents where on set or during production where things just kind of spiraled or you needed a minute or there was...
I think the only time that has ever happened was we did an episode at the Memphis in May festival.
Yes.
In
I think I
Memphis.
even overheard you talking about this. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the only time that, and it was something completely different. We've never done festivals before, but that was just, you have no control over that, and you're traveling all around the festival. We had a golf cart. It was like 98 degrees. I was sweating. I was doing my own
98
makeup.
degrees.
It was
Doing your own makeup.
I was doing my own makeup at the time because it was, it was a smaller scale. So like I had to constantly be like, I was sweating my eyebrows off, and I was like, oh my god, like because these are drawn on, and
They look great. They look wonderful.
hey, thanks. And just like constantly like retouching, thinking of a bunch of things, and then on top of that, like it's a festival. People are drunk. People are having fun. People see a camera. They're gonna jump in front of it. So like I'd be like, okay, we're gonna get this intro really quick, and we'd run over, and then some guy would come and be like, hey, what you guys filming? And I'd be like, oh my god. And he'd be like, you can get me on camera. Like it was a lot of that, and I felt my patience getting really thin. But I think that's probably the only time that I could think of that I was on camera and I just like wasn't loving it, but just was like, oh, I'm just tired. I'm really tired because it just didn't feel like the vibe of like how things usually were.
The upbeat, quirky kind of.
Yeah.
You were running out of energy.
Yeah, for sure. But that was literally the only time.
That's awesome.
I mean, rightfully so. Also, it was a festival designed for barbecue and beer and
Misery.
and craziness.
I have a question for you.
What's your question?
Were you scared at any point about the reaction or fan reaction to you and the show in general, especially since it was a meat themed show in the the time of veganism,
Right. So, yes, I was very nervous. I'm still a little nervous because like I'm known as like the meat eater, the I don't know, like people like think of me as
Carnivore.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I'm dating someone new, and her sister is a vegan, and I'm like, I don't want her to know what I do for work. You know what I mean? And like, I appreciate. I think everyone's entitled to their own diet, their own opinion. And I mean, a lot of times too, like I just watched this documentary about the future of meat, and like it is scary, and it is something that I think is not sustainable as health wise, and I think
do it now
that
for sure.
Yeah, and I think that this show has helped me be smarter about being more hands on with like the farmers and ranchers and people that are doing it right.
Sure.
But it was definitely, I get fearful of people, kind of coming for me because of my eating habits, but also my sexuality too. I feel like I'm always gonna piss someone off. So I never read the YouTube comments, which I did once.
I've done it. It's a bad call.
Oh my God. I was reading these comments and I was spiraling. And then there was this one man that wrote, Courtney, if you're reading this, stop. Don't read the comments. And I was like, okay.
Yes, sir.
And I literally, it was all caps. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I stopped reading them. But I don't know. I think that was definitely nervous of reactions.
We're feeding the trolls.
Exactly. And I think that, people are always going to have an opinion about what you do and say. Sure. You just got to be true to yourself. And don't read the comments.
Don't do it. Every time you're like, I'll find some nice stuff in there. No, no. It's not worth it.
For every nice comment, there's 8 bad ones.
8 people who were just there to be angry.
So mean.
Engagement.
Oh,
yeah. God. They made me do this sign off that was like, if you liked what you saw, give us a like and comment. And if you didn't, and then I could say whatever. And I was like, if you didn't, just go away. Please be nice and just leave me alone.
That was maybe the funniest part of recording the episode of My Mom's House, was letting you go into the kitchen and then do a bunch of Instagram ads.
Oh my God.
It cracks me up. I've never seen anyone do that live before. It was really funny.
Yeah, and I got to improv a lot of them, and I was like,
just goofing around.
If you like this episode a lot, swipe up. Just stupid dad
If you want to
jokes.
see, it's amazing. I don't even think of that. They're filming a different way. It's a different kind of camera.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing. And I'm just like, I never, while I was in school, we didn't learn about social media broadcast stuff. We just kind of shot everything the same horizontal was the ratio, and that was it.
Right. And now it's like, whoa,
vertical.
Thanks for social media. Swipe up. I gotta do a hand motion. Yeah. It's
hand motion hosting. Well, we ask all of our guests. To tell us about something that brings them joy, brings them comfort, something that maybe you're having a rough day, you're spiraling, you're feeling like a fraud. Something you can consistently go back to that maybe makes you happy. That brings you some sort of comfort. A happy place.
I think that one of the things that I've always liked about myself and felt really confident about is the fact that I am able to make friends with anyone. Mm-hmm. And I find it very easy to talk to strangers. And I find that strangers will kind of gravitate towards me to tell me stories. Mm. And if I'm feeling isolated and alone, I will sort of remind myself that is kind of a gift, and that is something that I was sort of put on this earth to do, is to connect with people and get to know their stories, and it helps me feel like I have more of a purpose when I'm feeling like I'm a little lost, and it also helps me feel less alone. So I think that that's something that makes me feel very good. Mm-hmm.
Just be people.
Yeah, people.
That's an amazing thing to be able to do.
I guess. I mean, no one's ever asked me that before, and I'm like, that's the first, the only thing that I can think of. I think I don't know, I don't really like being alone, but.
No, I get that.
But yeah, I think, just finding good and something interesting and something fun in people around you. Mm-hmm. Corny.
That's not corny. I think that's genuinely beautiful.
Hey, thanks, man.
Well done.
Really one of the most beautiful answers